You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/Truth on Tap show. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truth-on-tap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NOLYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give my mind, my heart. It's mine to share my sons, my heart.
Truth on Tap.
Invite to use just the way to chop it up and recombine. Chop it up and recombine.
You bitches aren't ready for this. 9:00 p.m., 7/19/14. I'm taking on conspiracy theories. Now, if you look at the title, it's going to say Kev attacks false reality. Again, I got to change that. My software didn't save my settings to update it, but you know what? Conspiracy theories are, for the most part, false reality. So let's let it stand for the period of the show that we're doing. There it is, Eno, Generic Hip Hop Session 1. It's a quick song. It's 90 seconds, but it gets me fired up a little. Let me crank it. I got to crank it for me. You won't hear a difference. Oh, there goes my eardrums. All rattly and shit now. Yeah, work that. This is working for me. This is my... it's my breath in before the first round. I'm taking that. And I'm taking a sip of coffee in as well, which you cannot do in boxing. It's a diuretic. It'll fuck you up. Be out of energy by the 6th round. But I'm only going 5 rounds today, so I plan on exploding in this bitch. Are you ready for this? You believe in some conspiracy theories? Bring them forth. Bring me your data. Bring all your data. Because I'm going to put it to you today. Yeah, I've been accused of being Illuminati. Did you know that? Sure have. We'll talk about it. Ain't nobody hating, that's all. Generic hip-hop's about over. I think I'll keep it going with grapes. You never seen nothing like this before, because you haven't. It applies. As some of you guys know now, I don't plan my shows. I come up with a topic if I'm... It's funny because a theme seems to run through a given week. I mean, this is kind of related to the last show. I think I'm just continuing it in a way. But you never seen nothing like this before, or at least heard it. Yeah, but check it. Make sure to recheck it. That's what he's saying. Check it several times in a row. That's what you should be doing with all your evidence, all your data, all your thoughts, all of your conclusions. Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you think 9/11 was an inside job? Why do you think the Boston bombings were an inside job? Why do you believe that the moon landings were a hoax? Why do you believe that JFK was necessarily shot by more than one person and it must have been a grand conspiracy? I know all kinds of reasons why you might believe that. Apocalypse up into his house. What's up, Apocalypse? Thank you for showing up to chat, my brother. Round up the people, because I'm going after these motherfuckers today. I posted on Alex Jones' page. Bring that shit on. I'm so sick of my fellow Americans not understanding truth. Thank you guys, Shay. Basking in the glory of the podcast. What we're doing today is we're getting you thinking right, okay? there are a few conspiracy theories that you ought to give some credibility to. They have not been adequately disproven yet. You can give them a little bit of a nod and say, let me take a look at that shit there. But about 90% of them, you're fucking wasting your time. And I'm going to tell you how stupid it is. Every minute you spend thinking that the moon landings were a hoax is another minute you've wasted in your life. That's all. You can look through a goddamn telescope, people, and see the footprints and the remnants of the lunar lander still there. Why are you believing that this was a hoax? Dumb shit. Dumb shit. Pisses me off. I think I'm at my best when I'm pissed off. I'm very boring when I'm not pissed off. I'm mildly exciting when I am angry. I gotta stop this music soon. It's getting on my nerves. And I don't like it when shit gets on my nerves. So that's only got 15 seconds left. I think I'll survive it. I'm going to let them finish their song. Let them finish their piece. Yeah, I love-hate relationships with my music. I love it and then I hate it. And that's how that goes. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Tell him, Wes Johnson. Find him at wesjohnson.com. Can't talk about Wes too much on this show because I got to get into it here. I'm looking at a list now. I love shit like this because there's no real authority to it. It's just shit people said. And we'll get into why that's important later. Top 25 most popular conspiracy theories. These are the ones they talk about. They get into Pan Am 103, JFK assassination, Big Pharma, the reptilian elite, fluoride in the water system, Paul McCartney, Elvis and Tupac, Princess Diana, Pearl Harbor, Shakespeare. I haven't even heard the fucking Shakespeare one yet. That should be interesting. All right, so we talked about 103. Chemtrails, everlasting light bulb, war for oil, global warming, Jesus and Mary. Damn, that's just the first page. Let's get to the next one. I want you to think about all these conspiracy theories. You've heard most of them. How many of them do you believe in? Peak oil is number 10. 9 is McCarthyism. 8, subliminal advertising. 7 is phantom time hypothesis. That I've got to look at. I hadn't even heard of that one. Wow. 6, New World Order. 5, the moon landing. 4, the Holocaust. 3, Area 51 Roswell. 2 is 9/11. And number 1 is the Grand Unified Conspiracy Theory. Yeah, everything's a conspiracy. Essentially the Matrix is what I'll call that. If you believe that the Matrix is happening, then everything is fake. But I guess the question is this. If you believe that some things are real, then you have evidence for them, I hope. And if you believe certain conspiracies are real, I would expect you to have equal evidence for that. But my guess is, based on what I've read and seen and learned throughout the years, is that you don't. You don't have a whole shitload of evidence for the conspiracy theories you'll buy into. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that conspiracy theories are attractive to people. There are several major reasons that deal with basic human psychology. Nothing fancy here, folks. We're going to be talking a little bit about some non sequitur stuff, getting into the logical fallacies and somebody fucking with me on Skype. You're not some Rush fan, are you? I have a feeling I know who that is, but I'm not going to guess because that would be sort of in disagreement with the theme of my show, which requires evidence to make claims. Now, Jews did 9/11, Holocaust was a myth, Alex Jones does meth. I know Alex Jones must do meth. If he doesn't, then he's been dropped on his head many times as a baby. Many times. There's got to be head trauma. I mean, yeah, you can have chemical imbalance. You can have certain disorders that don't necessarily rely on a physical, malevolent force of some type. He probably believes he was poisoned by the doctors as a baby, and that's why he's all fucked up. But isn't that funny? Because even he believes he's fucked up. And he has no evidence for it other than what he believes. That's quite circular thinking, isn't it? I'm looking at you guys in chat room who will, of course, add to this program today. The Tool Shed. The Tool Shed's in there. Alex Jones does meth. Jews did 9/11. Jones was busy pill popping the oxys. Was he? I know that Rush Limbaugh had some drug problems. I didn't know if Alex Jones has been known to do that. Listen, Alex Jones has found a way to make money. He started off with all the right things, all the right components for a great American hero. He wanted to fight the authority that was trying to hold you, the common man, down. And he got into this conspiracy and secret society shit. He's never been the same since. He's gone. He's gone. We can't reel him back in. Once you put inside your fundamental belief system a lot of untruths, you've lost all chance to build anything meaningful on top of that foundation. It will collapse and collapse and collapse again. Until he starts to unlearn some of the shit that he's bought into without adequate evidence, he's never going to be able to build. But he's selling, isn't he? He's got it figured out. People are scared. People are scared of the unknown. That's what all this is about. You want to know the root cause? There's your root cause. If Socrates were sitting here with me today, he'd probably really stink because he's been dead a long time. But he would say that there's your root cause right there, is people's fear of the unknown. That explains all of this. That's the foundation upon which I will build this whole show. People's fear of the unknown. It's a natural thing. It helped us to survive through millennia. We can't argue that. If you don't know what's out there, you don't go out there. If someone tells you they've been out there and seen what's out there, you believe them. You don't have much of a choice. You're not going to go look, so you just believe them. Oh my God, we're so weak. Mentally, we are a very weak species, people. I hate saying that because I believe in humanity and I love my fellow human, but we are so fucking... we're just going to... You could blow us over with a breeze mentally. We're so weak. You hear sheeple, that's an overused term, but it does speak to a certain natural element we have to see a pecking order develop in any given social situation. And we follow. Well, they must know what's going on, we'll follow them. No, they don't. They don't know what's going on. Learn for yourself what's going on. Because even if they know what's going on in their life, they don't know what's going on in your life. Get away from always following somebody. Especially some fucktard like Alex Jones. He wants to scare you, people. He's telling you he knows what's out in the dark. You stay in the cave, he'll go figure out what's out in the dark so you can avoid all of it. He's going to shine a light on it for you. He doesn't know what's out in the dark, people. He doesn't know. What he's doing is he's giving you an answer. And that's good enough for you. If you're an Alex Jones fan, you're satisfied with an answer. It doesn't make sense to you that 9/11 may have been committed by 19 extreme terrorists, religious extremists that hated our country. It doesn't make sense to you. It's too evil for that small amount of people to make such a big dent, isn't it? Had to be something more grand than that. Bring me your arguments. Bring me your proof that 9/11 was an inside job. I will disassemble that shit step after step. Bring it on in. What's your argument? The buildings, the free fall? That's a big one, isn't it? The towers falling at free fall speed? They didn't fall at free fall speed. First of all, if you don't know physics, don't fucking say that. If you don't know what free fall speed is. Second, take a look at the video. There's debris falling faster than the building. People don't want to know that, though. That's another problem. Guy Shane, Jones followers are the typical white trash trailer dwelling, living in deep rural areas, the ultra uneducated. Good thing there's creatures don't vote too often. Oh, yeah, well, Norman, I agree. Jews hate our country. 19 Jewish bankers flew into the World Trade Center. Silverstein got $2 billion on insurance. Yeah, all right. Well, like I said, bring me your evidence, because we can say anything, can't we? Alex Jones does. He makes a living on it. He's telling you that he's the guy. Let's go back to the cave analogy. I don't know where I got this from, but I'm going to stick with it. Just like Guy Shea stuck with his name, which he did not use at the end of his last podcast. You think I didn't listen, Guy, because I was eating my spaghetti, but I came back to that bitch, and I listened to the end, and you didn't say your name. You said, I'm me, and I'm sticking with that. And I'm sticking with the cave analogy. So that's what I'm going to do. We're all in a cave of some sort, folks. Many of us have traveled outside of our caves. All I'm asking you to do, if you're going to stay inside your cave, is don't necessarily trust everybody that comes in from the outside and says they've seen it all. Okay, what I hear from Alex Jones typically is, my sources tell me. Is that good enough for you? My sources tell me. I have a guy who is working as a contractor for the United States Air Force, said he saw a reptile in a suit. He saw a reptile in a suit. And nobody talks about how the circus was moving through town that day. You just don't want to know it, do you? Because what we do as humans is we start out with a hypothesis. Typically, we already believe in what we're going to find before we even start looking for it. I want to believe this, so I'm going to go look for support. And what do? This is the biggest mistake you make, humans, in your thinking. You find something that doesn't match your model, and you ignore it. Right there's the problem. Every piece of evidence you find in support of your beliefs, whether or not it supports your belief or not, should be given equal credit. That's going to change your beliefs, I'm sorry. That's not comfortable for most people. But what it's going to do is bring you closer to truth. And if you don't want that, just admit it. I certainly don't want you out there selling your version of lies that make you happy to my kids. I would rather them learn the absolute truth. And then, if they want to live in a fairy world, I do it sometimes. I don't want to sit beside the river of truth all day. It stinks over here. Okay, there's a lot of shit floating in this river. But you got to know what's in it. You have to know. Or you're just not... What are you going to be like on your deathbed if someone revealed all the truths? What are you going to be like if there is an afterlife and someone reveals all the truths and you see how stupid you were all these years because you didn't require evidence for anything you believed, or very few things? Jesus Christ. I lose hope a lot. I'm getting to the point now, I'll be honest with you. I don't care anymore. I used to care. I am losing my concern over mankind's propensity for shoving his fucking face into a hole in the ground and ignoring everything around him. I'm losing my concern for the blind leading the blind off of cliffs. I used to care about that. I still care that you don't need evidence for your claims. That bothers me. But I don't so much care if you say, fuck you, Kevin, and walk off the cliff. My older self might have tried to toss you a parachute or something, I don't know. But the people that are listening to me now either believe in a shitload of conspiracy theories and they want to argue their point, or they believe that maybe there is some good that can come out of using essential skills in reasoning and logic to come to your conclusions. Why is that so hard for especially Americans, man? I see intelligent masses of people in Africa and Asia and Europe. They are requiring evidence for their beliefs. And then I look at Americans and I don't know if it's TV. Maybe it's because we came from a Hollywood culture and we're so easily confused. It is the sleight of hand that politicians use, not just actors, to fool the shit out of you. And you buy it, man. You buy it. I can prove it. Look at how the country's split politically right now. Somebody's wrong, folks. Somebody in their political assertions is incorrect. But we've got people very evenly split following two opposing parties. That alone is proof that there are illusionists at work here. But you have to decide which of those illusionists present satisfactory data before they come to a conclusion, and which of them are just giving you the trick and moving on to the next trick. Nobody wants to read. I understand that. I mean, we've got Xbox, we've got porn, we've got the family cookout, we've got fishing, we've got sleep. We could do that. Sleep's always good. We could do drugs. We could go ride roller coasters. Some people get their psychological therapy inside a Walmart or a craft store. The last thing they want to do is be digging through evidence. I understand that. That's a sad state of human existence, but it's real, and I understand that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you can't take 4 hours per week to do your research on the news you're hearing. I'm sorry about that. It makes me sad. I think I might need a hug right now, to be quite honest with you. I'll look in the chat room for that in a minute, because I'm a little sad right now. But I'm going to come back. I'm going back to anger in a minute. Don't despair. Why do you believe this shit? Why do you believe that one dickhead, ex-Marine fucktard, couldn't have shot one of the greatest presidents in American history? Why? He did. He did it right from the book repository. Sure did. Shot that motherfucker a couple of times. And you don't want to believe that a loser like that could kill a man like JFK. You don't want to believe that JFK and the people that were with him were in a position that was wildly open to the public that day, in a way that it shouldn't have been, especially with the threat condition the way it was. I mean, there was some evidence that it was a bad time for JFK to be walking around exposed. And he shouldn't have been. But he was a brave dude, and he loved Americans, and he just said, fuck it. Yeah, I guess he was thinking, if I get shot, I must be doing something wrong, because not everybody loves me. I don't know what he was thinking. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. So, but what does have something to do with what we're talking about here is that people, what'll happen is they'll believe in an old wives' tale. They'll believe in this loose piece of information that's flying around. God, we love rumors, man. And then we get those, and here's where we make a huge mistake. We assume those as fact. Those go into our foundation. What comes after that, if it adds up, if it builds on that what is not a fact but you think is, then all of a sudden there's an extra degree of credibility to the idea. Hell, if we can find a third or fourth level of information that backwards supports that, we're hooked. We're hooked like largemouth bass on a goddamn Mepsaglia. We're going to the boat. You're not getting off. You're going in the frying pan. All right. This is your mistake. You started off wrong. You didn't insist on evidence for the first principle. If you had, B, C, and D wouldn't have mattered. They would have never been built onto your foundation, those false structures. We don't care. We hear a rumor, and if we don't hear enough people speak out against it, we say, that must be true. That must be true. Don't think that. Question everything you think you know at all times. Never put anything in your mind without a question mark beside it. That's how you're going to stay as close as possible to actual reality. Oh, did I get a hug in here? I'm not sure I have a hug. I see people offering cash, but no. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't put in. You guys are listening. Oh, there's the hug. Black Klansman's in there. Kevin, please say 1488. Okay, 1488. What does that mean? Aryan Power 1488. I don't know what that means. I defagotizing the world one Rush fan at a time. Alpha Males says Black Klansmen destroyed the Roman Empire. The Romans were too busy cornholing each other. Like the English of the time, they did like the little boys and the gay men. Weird how things that were the norm 1,000 years ago are quite illegal and morally reprehensible today. We're a fickle bunch, we humans, and it's never proven more so than in our need for proof that isn't a need at all. All we need is somebody to say something, and until someone else disproves it, that's our truth. That is weak, man. That is weak. That's why it takes people. Dr. Michael Shermer is a dickhead, okay? But the guy does understand logic. Now, he first pissed me off when he was attacking my Air Force brothers about Rendlesham Forest. I can get over that. But he's still a prick the way he deals with people. You can... he's the president of the Skeptic Society, Skeptic Magazine, all that stuff. He's got a PhD in science history and, I don't know, bachelor's in something else. But he's pretty good. He understands why people believe in myths. And he was on a show one day. It was a news show out of D.C., a TV show. And he was taking calls on the 9/11 conspiracy. And he was slapping them down one after the other. And people were just getting pissed off. They wanted to believe that the government did this. I mean, what is it? I'm sitting here drawing a total fucking blank in my head as why we insist on hating our government. Do you know who your government is? You think your government's some big, black, dark machine from behind this mysterious curtain? It's fucking Kenny. It's Kenny from the 5th grade. Remember him? He used to pick his nose a lot, but he was very patriotic. His hair was always perfect. Okay? He liked to wear red, white, and blue a lot. Kenny is the president now. He's a dude that sat beside you in the 5th grade. He's not some fucking Hitler reincarnated that came out of Budapest. Why do you hate the government? They're from your own ranks. We voted to put them in office. Or is voting a conspiracy? Look, I can't help you if you've lost yourself in the vineyards of lies that become conspiracies. But if you'll kindly step out of that fucking field and come over to logic for a minute, we can set you straight. And we can set you straight by making sure that you believe you need evidence before you're going to put forth claims, either in your mind or into the public. Make sure you need evidence, good evidence, or otherwise let it go. I know you might have heard a few pieces of evidence that hasn't been disproven yet that tell you that we never did touch the moon in 1969. But if I can tell you that you can look through a powerful telescope right now and see the footprints and the flag and the remnants of the lunar lander there, shouldn't that stop that whole madness? Shouldn't that stop? Oh, that could have been put there in 1984, Kevin. Once you say that, I'm finished with you. I can't fix your fucking brain. You have to look up everything that matters about logic and reason. I'm looking at a page right now that has an overview of arguments in logic. I'm not going over this. This is University of North Carolina. Inductive, deductive reasoning. What else did they talk about? The abductive argument. I've been abducted. That's not what it's talking about. We're looking at logical fallacies. This is from the skepticsguide.org. Now, skeptics piss me off, the hardcore skeptics, because they just sit there in the laboratory waiting for you to prove everything to them. Well, I appreciate it if you're out there poking around the fringes, folks. I like people that are ghost hunters and like to look for mysteries and figure out what it is people are saying, even if it's not what popular lore has it as. I like people like that, all right? I grew up, I was watching Scooby-Doo. I like people that investigate mysteries. But typically it's Mr. fucking Frankenstein with a mask on, isn't it? That's usually what we find. There are so many reasonable explanations for things that the chase that we give, thinking that everything's a goddamn conspiracy or a ghost or a UFO, takes away from the time we could be putting into the 3 to 5% that are worth looking at, you know? Real UFO sightings that just don't make sense. The Phoenix Lights, 10,000 people seeing a craft that was a goddamn half a mile wide hovering slowly over them. Now, could it have been a government craft? Yeah. Could it have been a hallucination? No, not with 10,000 people seeing it. There are a lot of things. It could have been an experiment by the government using satellites creating a hologram. You have to entertain that possibility. You don't just see something in the sky and say, that's alien life. But at the same time, you don't see something in the sky and say, that must be caused by nature or our government's test plans. There could be something else, okay? But making assumptions that are exclusive in nature are the first trap door you'll find in your belief system. Don't make them. Just say, I don't know yet. You can leave it open-ended. People aren't comfortable with that. They want all the holes spackled in, don't they? That's the most appeal of conspiracy theories. I can fill the holes you have in your education. You don't know what happened on 9/11? I got it. Inside job. 20% of our budget goes to military projects, half of that going into black projects, and there's no accountability? Sure, of course they wanted another war. That's how they make their money. You know, fuck it. You guys tell me where I'm going wrong here. Maybe I should just stop giving a shit. You show me one good conspiracy theory for which there is evidence that even scientists are having trouble with. I want to know. I'm gonna have to play a song here in a minute just to jumpstart my brain again, because I'm falling into that place I don't like to be, where I give up on humanity. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Apocalypse says, I think the reality is we have a bunch of selfish assholes circle jerking each other. I don't know what you're talking about there, and I tend to agree with you, but I don't know what you're talking about there. Here you go. Guy Shea, people want to believe there's a special select group of unknown old men running everything in the U.S. behind the scenes. That is an absolute thing, and that talks to basically that conspiracy theory about the whole New World Order and all. Yes, there are some powerful men, we know this, but they don't run everything. They don't run everything. Not in a democracy, they can't. They can certainly influence elections here and there. They can certainly get people to speak as false witnesses here and there. But they're not going to get 100 million to speak as false witnesses. This belief, you know what it is? People don't have perfect lives. So they're looking for something to blame. And nothing is easier to blame than a loudmouth Alex Jones speaking through a megaphone telling you that there are 5 men in control of the whole world and control of your problems. They're causing your problems. They're planning against you. They're trying to keep you down. They want you to be sheeple. They're putting fluoride in your water to fucking kill your brain cells so they can control you. That makes things awful tidy, doesn't it? Awful easy. All your problems, those motherfucking 5 dudes. Koch brothers. I'm so sick of hearing that shit. That's just people who don't want to realize that life is hard for some of their own reasons and other reasons that they can conquer, that are not their own, but that they can conquer. It's a simple passing off of responsibility is all it is. Oh, it's them. They've got a conspiracy against me. The aliens are running it. The old white men are running it. There's going to be the one world government. There's going to be a new world order. They're poisoning me. They're stealing my money. They're keeping me fighting with other people in the middle class so we don't stop to look at the separation between the classes of wealth. That's what they're doing. That's what my problems are due to. I'm perfect. It's them that's the problem. What a sad state of affairs. And that calls for purple nurple. Fuck it. You know, it's a song that kind of feels like a hangover, but more important to me, maybe like you're just kind of coming to after an alien attack. That's perfect for this show. Yeah. I'm going to take a little break, so I'm just going to play this and maybe one other song, and we'll get back to screaming about shit in a second. But I feel like my head's about to explode, so I just need to take a breather. So I'm sure you motherfuckers can deal with that. And because you can deal with that, here goes.
Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yeah, I'm breaking into the song. I did that out of disrespect. ENOE, Copenhagen NV. I don't know who the fuck they are. I find shit that sounds interesting to me and download it. I'm a simple creature. A couple minutes of this song left. I'll talk during it. I think we should go off topic a little bit. I think we should talk about things that are on your guys' mind. Because what can we do with the conspiracy theorists? What can we do with them? What do you want to do? Are you okay living next door to a dude that believes that he needs to wear a tinfoil hat nightly to keep the government out of his brain? Does that make you feel warm and comfortable inside? I don't know what to do with him. What are you going to do? Talk logic to him? You know, sell him some books written by famous philosophers? Is that going to do it? I don't think so. Well, I don't know what happened in science class in high school. People just didn't learn the scientific method, the reasonable way of discerning bullshit from reality, and then compounding upon that to advance your understanding of the world a bit better. I don't know. It's tearing my stomach up thinking about this. I think I picked a topic that's way bigger than me. We can talk about tinfoil hats, two twinks, and Speedos. Guy Shea's got good ideas. I can't keep up with his brain. Some gay rush. Yeah, I can't keep up with you guys. You're too fucking advanced for me in the chat room. But I'm going to try. I mean, I'll keep up with something. Maybe we'll talk about news. What do you think about this airliner that was shot down over the Ukraine? Anybody got some ideas on that? It's calling for speculation right now, isn't it? We don't have the facts. I'm a guy that waits for the facts. That's boring. We need to speculate. I'm not sure it was over the Ukraine, because who's to say that it wasn't a little green dude in Ireland with a fucking badass rocket launcher, and he just shot that bitch from a distance. You know, it's not that far away. What, 1,000 miles? He could hit it. Not a problem. It's not a problem. If he built that shit right, he can hit it. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, ENOE. I don't want to hear what you have to sing anymore. Or play, whatever the fuck that was. We might play Lamatio Teatro later because it is an open-ended definition for me. I don't know what it means and I don't want to know. This is a voluntary suspension of disbelief. I'm good with that. Sacto 22, they've got craft. Featuring Erlomeg, Borja, and Smojos, which is probably something you could order in a Korean restaurant, but I wouldn't because you don't know what it is. The Grand Mufti shot it down. Have to catch it. Puts on the sleeve. Okay. All right. Yep. People are disappearing and shit. That's cool. So what are we going to talk about now? I'm going to pull up the news, and I'm going to see how much you people understand how you're being led and misled. Led and misled. How much do you care about the facts versus basically someone's opinion or interpretation of an event, as long as they represent a network that you support? Is that okay with you? Let's see. What's a good, I would say, middle ground news source? God, that's hard. None of these. Fox is left, or Fox is right. MSNBC's way too far left. Reuters is a good one. Reuters, they're boring as shit. They just report what happens. Let's pull their shit up. And here's the first story. They were falling from the sky. Witnesses of MH17 crash tell their stories. Remains of bodies, crashed parts of the plane, still burning engines. That was their dramatic and gruesome picture that local residents saw when the plane came down over the Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. From what I've read, Vladimir Putin is an ex-KGB fucktard who still gets off on power trips. And owning office isn't enough. That's not enough. You got to bully people around. You got to go stir shit up. I mean, when you're in the KGB, you are on the front end of a spear that comes from an ego. And that ego at the time was a communist Russia that insisted on world domination through secret networks. If you wanted to have some conspiracy theories, why don't I hear you talking about the KGB? There's more mystery surrounding them than Bette Midler's fucking nose. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's no telling what they were doing during the darker years of the Soviets' reign. No telling. Maybe Putin's a reptile, you know? Show me evidence that he isn't. That's another fallacy in logical arguments we could talk about. People say, oh, you don't have the presence of evidence against, therefore for is okay. That's not adequate for for, y'all. It's not. Not having evidence against something should not validate it in your head. You need evidence in support of to validate it in your head, if you're thinking. Doomsday Sputnik, Russia said to launch new missile attack warning satellite. That's not a warning satellite, I can just about bet you. And speaking of warnings and satellites and secret governments, what about Roswell? I don't know exactly what happened in Roswell. I'm not going to discredit the testimony of 100 people that talked to Dr. Friedman about what happened and the alien bodies in the wreckage and the quasi-aluminum foil that straightened back out after you let it go. Those things could have all been real. They also could have been mistakes. Here's the problem. I don't know if Roswell was a genuine spacecraft crash, okay? But what I do know about it is that we have written what we want to see into that story. That shouldn't be satisfactory to you. You should go on what the evidence suggests. Now, you know and I know that big militaries are going to keep secrets. They have to. It's kind of in your best interest. Sometimes, though, they overextend the parameters of their authority in keeping things from the people they claim to serve and protect. This is where you and I have to stand up and say something. But we don't know, do we? We don't know. It's all covered up. Who's in there saying this should have been shared with America? Why in the heck did we classify that? They do what they're told. I was in the military. You do what you're told. That's what you do. And if you don't do what you're told, you're brought up under court-martial. Or you're kicked out. Or they'll find other ways to punish you. They've got very subversive tactics that they can use to punish you. You do what you're told. That doesn't mean that they're hiding this grand conspiracy to let reptiles rule your government. Where the fuck are you getting this information? I've seen the YouTube videos. If you believe in that shit, you are lunar. You need psychological counseling. This whole feeling, this background feeling that everybody's out to get you is called paranoia. How many animals in the animal kingdom live being paranoid? I understand that it might serve some of them well. It might serve some deer well. It might serve some elephants well. It might serve some tuna fish well. They're out to get me. Well, yeah, they are. But nobody's hiding it. Look at the nets. Look at the bear heads mounted on the walls. Nobody's hiding. You think that everybody's got a secret and they're out to get you. You're not that important, person. You're really not. But what you should do to ease your worries a little bit is get your face buried into logic, reason, critical thinking, and the scientific method. Bury your fucking head in that before you come out saying some more weird shit. Learn it. If you don't know anything about it, it'll take you a couple months. Get a couple good books on it. Understand. You won't have a question about the techniques. There's no trickery in them. It's just saying make sure the math adds up before you buy into anything. That's all. Yeah. India could return to Mars as early as 2017. We're going to get past, folks. America's getting past, and it starts with education. I know this. Do you know this? I know this. We've let our education go. That's a sad thing. That's a sad thing to me. I had big hopes. I mean, back in the 60s, we were kicking ass in education, and then we just said, fuck it. What was it? The drugs came then. That may be related. It would be foolish for me to assume that was it, based on what could just be coincidence, which so many people do. Well, this happened near the time of that, therefore this caused that. Causation does not equal correlation, nor vice versa, folks. You gotta understand the difference. Let's see what you bitches are talking about. Leave the animals alone. Jewish producers in the chat room. You know why? Not because my show's good, because Apocalypse can get anybody in my goddamn chat room. I wish this was a UFO crash. A UFO crash would be far more interesting than any of my shows, Jewish producer. This we do know. Vladimir Putin, he always comes when I talk about him, because, see, this is what you got to understand. Vladimir Putin knows when anybody says his name. He's got networks. They're everywhere. I guarantee you there's a bug in my studio right now that actually looks like a physical, biological bug. You know that technology is already out there. I was looking at a spider the other day thinking, he's not walking very fluid. He's got more of a mechanical movement to him. I wonder if that spider's real. I wonder if that spider's man-made and has a listening and viewing device built inside of it. Well, they have those now, so you might as well say goodbye to privacy. That's long gone. The question is, who is it that's spying on you? That's really the question. You want to be paranoid? I'll give you a reason to be paranoid. The technology to spy on you is getting remarkably cheap and efficient and convincingly absent from what you would normally suspect a listening or viewing device from I guess what I'm trying to say is they're very secretive and hard to find now. Whereas before, everything had to be kind of bigger. There had to be a picture hanging in your office with a little hole cut in it or something along those lines. Now they can have a mosquito fly through the fucking window that has a listening device in it. It's ridiculous. Which douchebag? Me? I'm not a douchebag. I have never been inserted into a vagina fully for the purposes of cleaning the vagina, so I take exception to that, Jewish producer. And, it's usually the hose from the bag, so I guess I could be a douchebag. I'm just not a douchebag hose. That much is certain. That I can say I'm certain of. What's going on now? We were looking at the news earlier. Reuters. I brought it up because they're boring. I brought it up because they don't usually inject drama into their stories, and yet are they coming under the attraction of the dramatic news story? Are they coming under the public pressure to create stories where there are none? I'm seeing some spices on top of these stories now. Forced into service, 89-year-old Nazi camp guard fights extradition to Germany. He was just following orders. That's not normally something Reuters would be talking about. That scares me a little. Well, it's going to happen. I mean, people that are in business deliver what sells. Have you ever seen it work any other way in the history of humankind? If drama's selling, that's a problem with us, not the news organizations. They're giving you what you want. But you're buying it. You want it. You want the drama. I'm here to tell you life's not half as dramatic as the news media makes it seem. You can, if you want drama, I recommend just going with fiction. Wouldn't you rather go with fiction than 10% nonfiction that's being paraded as news? I would. I just go for full fiction if I want to be entertained. Baked good. Washington greenlights marijuana brownies, but lollipops are for suckers. Oh, so what they're going to say, I can already tell you, they're going to say that appeals to kids and we can't have that. Because you don't want a kid getting high. We would much rather have them running around setting their pets on fire. Whatever. Connecticut trooper admits to stealing cash, gold crucifix from dying motorcyclist. Surprise. Surprise. Oh my God. That's cold-blooded, man. That's fucked up. Damn. That is, I got to pull that story up. It makes me laugh and breaks my heart all at the same time. There is a story. A veteran Connecticut state trooper faces a 1.5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to stealing a dying motorcyclist's cash and gold crucifix at the scene of a 2012 crash. That's wrong, man. 19 years on the force. Aaron A.J. Huntsman, 45 years old. Shame on you, Aaron. Shame on you. Stealing a cross, isn't there some type of sacrilege there? Oh my God. Yeah, I'm agnostic, by the way. I don't believe in your invisible dude, so fuck you. You prove to me your invisible dude exists, I'll start worshiping him. Till then, I don't want to hear your shit. Yep, non sequitur, we'll close that page. I'm going to close this logical argument page because people don't want to think. I've tried to make people think. I fail miserably at making people think. Here's a good one. Fact-checking 6 persistent science conspiracy theories. And this is National Geographic. You're a good source. I'm going to put a link to this on the announcement for the show on the Facebook page. But I'll go ahead and read them to you real quick because it's so fast. It'll just take me a second because I got to post this first. So give me a minute. Just whack off for, 30 seconds there while we're getting there. And then I'll read you those. Comment, yes. Open any goddamn time, Facebook. Thank you. My shitty computer and my shitty everything here. I have shitty equipment. I have shitty connection. I had a decent headset that's now shitty because my cat chewed it. All right, so these are 6 persistent science conspiracy theories, all right? You know what one of them is going to be. Global warming is a hoax? Yeah, bullshit. Number 2, let's see. A total of 29% of voters believe aliens do exist. Well, that's getting, with what the Hubble and the Kepler have found, it's getting quite easy to believe an alien life existing because of the probability. I mean, it's a numbers thing now for scientists, and I'm with them. I think it's an extremely high probability that intelligent and other alien life is out there. I don't have a question about it. The probability is too high. Some 20% believe childhood vaccines are linked to autism. That's not true. Look it up. The poll revealed 14% believe Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot's not real. We'd have a skeleton. You're telling me we got a goddamn skeleton of a pterodactyl from 70 million years ago. We've got the fucking nostril hairs of a brontosaurus, but we can't find a single leg bone? You can't give me a femur from a Bigfoot? Get the fuck out of here. Your wife is Bigfoot. Goonie goo goo, bitch. Some 9% believe the government adds fluoride to drinking water for sinister purposes. Jesus Christ. I'm not even talking about that. And then 7% of voters believe the moon landing was faked. Well, 7% is not a huge number. That doesn't scare me as much as it did before. I thought it was more than 7%. But at the same time, it shows me where we are in education. If you want to know how your country's doing in education, check out the polls, the trustworthy polls, on conspiracies, on the common belief and conspiracies that have no convincing data to support them. That's where you're going to find how your country's educational system is doing at any given time. Fucking state trooper. Dying motorcycle. It pisses me off. I ride a scooter, and people don't care about you out there. They'll run your ass over. I flip people off all the time. They think about killing me and then don't. I mean, I realize one day they're just going to say, fuck it. All I got to do is nudge them. It was an accident, right? I was tuning the radio. That's all I have to tell the cops. And it's going to happen. I don't care. Hey, Kim. What's up, Kim? Kim Ashbury Moxley in the chat room. Jewish producer still in there, which is it's a shocker, really. Everybody else is long ago vacated, and I can't blame them. This show, I think I'm going to end up cutting a little bit short because the whole topic of it got my stomach messed up. It did. I got pissed off at how easily people let themselves be misled. And I don't know if I'm making a judgment call there on you being irresponsible for letting yourself be misled. I'm more pissed off at the people doing the misleading to serve their own sinister purposes. Or maybe less sinister. Maybe they're just enjoying the fame. Maybe Alex Jones is just enjoying the fame. It's a common human need to be recognized on a wide scale, if possible, for doing something good, or what he thinks is good. And maybe that's all it is. But no, I think he realizes that most of the shit he's saying is wrong, but that people are looking to fill that hole with anything. And he's just squirting it out there, and they're taking it. Nobody's out there fighting him. I can't fight him. It tears my stomach up to fight him. I just hate how little people think, the types of people that follow in Alex Jones and believe half the shit he says. You can't think and also agree with Alex Jones. The two are mutually exclusive. They are in constant battle with each other. Logic, reasoning, critical thinking, Alex Jones, conspiracy theory, every goddamn logical fallacy that you can count, he uses them. So I'm closing all that as well. Let's see what you guys are being saying. Thinking and Alex Jones don't mix, that's right. Oh, they're sharing bong hits in there. What do you want, Jewish producer? What do you want me to do? Maybe I shouldn't cut it short. Maybe we should keep going. But goddamn it, it did upset my stomach. I made the mistake of realizing last show when Kev attacked False Reality, and then the one before that on Bad Show Host, that when I get fired up, I'm more interesting. But when I get fired up, I pay a price. It can fuck up my whole night. I can't fake this shit. Some of you guys can fake this. I can't fake it. When I sound upset, I'm upset. Yeah, I'm reading what you're saying in chat, so just relax. I'm not cutting the show right now. Profiting for fear-mongering. He reminds me of someone who would toss a few angels on fire for added oomph on a fire. Yeah, Alex Jones. I honestly think Alex Jones started off with the right idea. He said, we're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore, or something like that. And what it turned into was, damn, I can sell ads. I can double my listenership every time I mention anything about Skull and Bones. Fuck that. I want to get rich. And that's what he did. Yeah, I just mentioned Skull and Bones. But I'm not going to tell you anything about them. They're too secret. I don't know anything about them. Anybody says they know anything about them is lying. Or a paid misinformant. All right, so what do you guys think is important in the world today? Where are we missing? What are we doing wrong? Come on, Jewish producer. Tell me what we're doing wrong. Apocalypse, he knows what we're doing wrong, but he tries to be too nice all the time. Somebody needs to piss him off so he'll talk. Kim knows a lot of what's going wrong. Let me think what else. Yeah, my stomach is on fire. We had... I got some kind of shit. I don't know if it's celiac disease or IBS or whatever, but we had spaghetti earlier, and it's safe. I mean, it was gluten-free noodles, and I'm assuming the ingredients in the sauce were safe. I don't know, because this is like when you're diagnosed with diabetes. All the fucking rules. You got a bunch of new rules. I didn't need that. I really don't need new rules, but I don't know. I think it's this just being upset. I'm going to stop being upset. I'm not letting you motherfuckers ruin my Saturday night. Forget about it. You want to believe Alex Jones? Go over to Alex Jones and listen to his goddamn show. You want to believe in reason and logic? You listen to me. God damn you. That's right. I'll steer you right. Reality is not all that beautiful all the time. But here's the thing. Here's where I'm going to give you a pass. If you know what reality is, I'll walk right with you over into Fantasyland. We can live there. As long as you know what reality is. As long as you're willing to admit it. That impresses me. And then from there on, America's a country of style. Gallagher was the best guy to display how we live in style. We do. I mean, it's all about flair, art, doing it your way, not the way of the man. That is a beautiful thing about America. So yes, I will walk down Fantasy Lane with you to Fantasy Island and find that little fucking Hawaiian midget. The plane, boss. The plane. Fuck you, Tattoo. You're on fucking crack. You just want to get laid. That's why you're hanging around the old good-looking dude. I know what men's motivations are, you little fucker. You need a little fucking tiny miniature horse to ride. Act like Jack Palance in a terrible version of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Where am I getting this shit? I have no fucking idea. Woo! Damn. Crack, I'd be pulling shit out of midair. Midget sex, midget sex. Stabby McHugs, the lawyer's in the chat room. He's a smart motherfucker. They scare me, man. Him and Jewish producer. They scare me with their intelligence. I gotta watch them motherfuckers, because they know how to manipulate people. They can. You know, that's part of what you have to watch out with any intelligent person. They can manipulate you if they want to. I'm not saying they all do. Come on now. But they can. You know. Stabby McHugs might make me do something I wouldn't normally do. What media should we be paying attention to? There's no answer to that, Stabby. It's the truth. But even the truth is subject to, what if it's all like the Matrix and it's all false? I say that some is more believable than others. 90% of the time we're operating on a maybe. Make your maybe a maybe that is supported by data. That's all I'm asking. Apocalypse enjoys Russia Today. Putin's own spokesperson, organization. It's fucking state-run media, man. And half of the papers in America are too. You know that. It's so simple. It's whatever the money or the power demands is printed. That's all. Who do you guys trust for news sources? Who do you trust and why? I'd like to know. Don't lie to me either. I don't want anybody lying just to be so you don't get called out in the chat. Who's to say my news sources are right? Who's to say BBC isn't serving some fucking leftist Euro agenda? I don't know. I just find them more believable than the others. Oh, go ahead. Jewish and Stabby at it. Yeah, it's take a fucking Jew and a lawyer. They'll have it out right on your show. I'm watching it. I'm the spectator now, not the host. I'm just watching this shit. Kim doesn't trust any news source. I don't blame you, Kim. I honestly don't. Who do you trust? Who do you trust, Jewish producer? Seriously, I want good news. Someone tell me. All right, Jewish producer. Your penis is not short and bent grossly to the left. There's your good news. Now, I didn't tell you I was telling you the truth. I just said I was giving you good news. That's all I'm giving you. There it is. There it was. That's it. Read between all the lines. You know how you do that, Apocalypse? You read several news sources. They expose one another, and they don't even realize they're doing it. One will shine light on the other one's dirty as cracks. It's not good, though. Even when you get the truth, folks, it's nothing to be proud of. It just means that you know what's really going on. And to me, I can't be comfortable unless I feel like I really know what's going on. You know that background question, is this something like the Matrix? Are we some alien teenagers science experiment? Are there some other humanoid beings, and why would make them anthropomorphic figures? I don't know, but maybe they're inside the moon, jacked into headsets, living our lives as one night of education. Yeah, I was Jewish producer last night when I put on the headset. I did. I had my own radio show. I did my whole thing and understood being a Jew. You know, that was my one night of education, jacked in on the headset to be Jewish producer. He lived 74 years. He died. That was that. That was my lesson. How do you know we're not little lesson programs for some alien life form? You don't fucking know. None of us know. So what we have to do is go with what we think we do know, and at least make that the most realistic possible. That's all. How do you think Neo figured out in the movie that he was in the Matrix? How did he figure it out? You ever think about that? In a real world situation, how would one figure that out? That's a good question. How would we figure out that, you know, we're seeing everything in 3 dimensions and there's 14 dimensions around us or more? I mean, how would you figure it out if you had 10 senses and not 5? Seriously, we may have 10 senses and we just haven't learned how to use the other 5 yet. Or 4, some might say, if we've developed the 6th sense already. How do you know? How do you start unscratching that scratch ticket? You know, you got to know it's there first. Let's see what Jewish producer just hated me on. He said, well, unfortunately, I do keep an open mind to some conspiracy stories, but I can't see it in my heart to hate this Kevin dude. You can hate me. It's okay, man. I've got people that hate me. I've got Alex Jones fans fucking despise me. Jesus Christ, they hate me. When I went over to that page and started picking apart his arguments, the very first comment I got was an accusation that I was Illuminati. I, Kevin, born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to a military dad who was in the Marine Corps, to a crazy mom as her fifth kid, moved to Virginia, lived in poverty, grew up in poverty, joined the Air Force right out of high school, only went to college after when I realized the value of it, where I actually started studying to get my fucking A's. I didn't do that in high school. I just got C's and D's because I didn't care. And all of that, and suddenly, somehow, along the way, some fucking how, I'm Illuminati. I'm part of an elite Italian-born organization to control the information of the world. Get the fuck out of here, Alex Jones fans. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I'm Illuminati, all right. That means I'm lighting shit up. I'm shining the flashlight right on your ass crack. You didn't think anybody could see it? We can see it and smell it now. Because Kevin said, let's just apply some critical thinking here. Doesn't take long. Kim and I, listen guys, I sit here and preach like I'm some kind of god of critical thinking. I'm not. I have been a student of it for a long time. I'm fascinated with reason. I'm fascinated with Socrates. I know Stabby McHugs already knows Socrates better than me. Any lawyer does. They study Socrates like for a couple of years in law school. They have to, because logic and reason are the only things that sell in a courtroom besides good drama. Now, I am not the king of this. Kim and I go ghost hunting. Right there. If I were making any serious claims on a national or international stage about my ability to think reasonably and critically, well, I was told you were a lawyer, Stabby. I don't know. Maybe Apocalypse lied, but that's not his MO, so I figured you were a lawyer. From Vegas. And I was the one that said, why would there be a lawyer in Vegas? I could hardly see any work for them out there. We go ghost hunting because people are reporting shit. We'd like to know what it is. He's just an didact, I'm sorry. Yeah, I get my C's and T's confused late at night. JP and this would have good crossfire of ideas. So you are a lawyer then, Stabby. All right, you know what? You're illustrating my point here. Here you say lawyer question mark with the implication that you're not a lawyer, making me seem wrong. To somebody who would have tuned out, their last thought would have been, this Kevin Kierstead doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Now you're telling me you are a lawyer. See? See how that works, man? Got to be careful with this shit. I was probably kidding. Buckley's. Oh yeah, that's what kids say when they get caught lying. Oh yeah, Ken. Yeah. Jewish producer is a stinky sellout. I see you guys have a certain type of love affair there. It's got some steam coming off of it, which, a lot of things have steam coming off of them that aren't pleasant. I want to know what the hell. I'm having trouble keeping up with you guys, but I love to try to keep up in the chat room because I'm a huge fan of Socrates. I'm probably going to get a tattoo with that old fucker on my back. I've just been thinking about him for years, and it's not a man crush type thing. I've never had one of those. I mean, maybe I've had a man crush on him, but not him. I strictly love his academia, and all it is saying I don't know shit, but I know how to question things. And if I question things enough, you're going to sit there drooling and stuttering because you are going to have to, if you follow my line of reasoning, disassemble your own beliefs and reassemble them to prove them to me. And I'll bet you can't do it. He says, I can see Kevin's point of view, but he doesn't attack his position in a violent way. I used to, man. I used to have that fire. I had that fire in college. I had an English professor read an article out loud that I wrote about a dude who was reporting that something like 70% of our country's drugs came in through the Mexican border. And I fucking attacked the reporter. I said, how the fuck does he know 70% are coming through there? He would have to be there monitoring everything that came through. If we knew it was coming through and we were letting it through, then that would be a massive failure on INS or ICE. So anyway, yeah, I'm not that. I don't have enough hate anymore. I don't have enough snarl is the right word, and that is attractive. I agree. You think there's going to be a false flag attack, Jewish producer? You think we're going to have a false flag alien attack like everybody's predicting? To make the one world government and unify all of our funds into a defense? You think that? Believe that, nigga. Where's Black Klansman? I want to hear what Black Klansman has to say about this. New reality, where you been? What's going to happen when we uncover it all, folks? Is it going to be as ugly as I'm thinking it probably will be? When we get everybody over to questioning their beliefs? I'm sorry to say it, but if we continue our current line of growth, religion will die. Religion's going to be one of the first casualties of critical thinking. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, maybe UFO bullshit is bullshit. See, the problem with Americans is we say UFO when we really mean alien life. And if I throw a hot dog over your head and you don't know what it is, that's a fucking UFO, brother. So UFOs exist. We just don't know what the fuck they are. I haven't seen any false flags. I don't think Boston was a false flag. I think Boston was two fucking terrorists that wanted to make their names known. Guys have done more to make their names known. I mean, we could go over it. There's Black Klansman. Was Cho in the Virginia Tech massacre a false flag? No. It was a crazy motherfucking Asian American dude that wanted to kill 32 people, and he did it. That's what it was. He snapped. You can get a gun, man. I could do it tomorrow. I could go out and kill 200 people tomorrow if I really wanted to. Who's an idiot? I might be an idiot. I mean, if we find out that there is something like the Matrix going on, and you don't have to equate it with this being run by an intelligent machine force. It could be something just outside of our scope of understanding. Look at all 360 degrees, not just 1 degree. If we don't know any of this shit, then I am an idiot. All of us are. Was Loeffner a false flag, Kev? I don't think any of those shootings have been false flags. Not at all. Not at all. Give me the evidence. That's all I got to say. You know, if you think that the anti-gun lobby is out there getting people propped up to go shoot kids in an elementary school, I think you're fucking crazy. Give me your evidence. People can't keep secrets in this country. If they do, they can't keep it for more than 30, 40 years tops. And that's if it comes from a directive, an order from the top. Yeah, I honestly don't believe in any of these false flags. I know there were a couple in the past that, you know, people talk about Bay of Pigs and go back to some of the Civil War stuff. It's not unheard of, but to think that everything that happens like this is false flag, is grand orchestrated by some small group of people that want to promote an agenda, I don't think so. I think you got to allow for the anomalies. It's one of the biggest mistakes we make is that we don't want to allow for ex post facto anomalies. And I'll bet that Stabby McHugs knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you have a truckload of data supporting a view that 9/11 was done by 19 extremist terrorists, and in that truckload of data you find 6 things that shouldn't be there, then you string those only on hindsight, and you string them together to make it look like an alternative theory would be valid. Out of 10 tons of data, you take 6 ounces out that you loosely string together, and I'm supposed to jump ship from the 10 tons to the 6 ounces. I'm not going to do it. I need to see a shitload more data for me to start believing in your conspiracy theory. And, you know, Roswell, I believe it is entirely possible that the Roswell conspiracy theory is a valid one. I believe that's entirely possible based on what I've read and how much weight it carried with me. But I still don't buy it yet. I need more. I do believe that you know and I know, and I've been in the Air Force, that the United States government is not going to share shit with people. It's not in their best interest. Not when it comes to fraud, waste, and abuse. Not when it comes to national defense. They're not going to share it openly. It's just not going to happen. So if it was some type of experiment based on Nazi Germany's flying disc technology, we don't know. We don't know. It's not something you share if you're still developing it. You know they were developing flying saucers in Nazi Germany. That's fact. They just didn't make it work. You know? And with Operation Paperclip, we got all the great scientists over here to the U.S., so they couldn't make anything work after that. I mean, they were a beaten people anyway. After Russia got done with them, Jesus Christ, I'm surprised there's any Germans left. They were pretty pissed off. You know, Russia had to lose a lot in World War II. I'm reading over your comments here. You guys are going too fast for me, so I'm just going to have to pick out one once in a while. 80s hits. What more are you missing? Respect? I don't know what you mean by that, Black Klansman. I'm trying to see who you were responding to. Yeah, you have a nice house, nice car, live in the American dream. I don't. I don't have a car. I live in a single-story brick rancher that has plants growing out of the gutters. And my studio is a back porch with one brick wall and 3 falling apart walls. So no, I'm not living the American dream. So it's not like I'm on some sort of high horse here saying everything looks fine from here. You people down in the ghetto must not understand reality. No, I'm fucking in the ghetto, okay? I've been in the ghetto and I've been at Park Place, and it's no different. People want the same things. The difference is one has resources and the other doesn't. Go ahead, Kim. I'm listening. I don't need respect. I don't need respect at all, brother. I like my fellow humans. If they don't respect me, that's cool. I'm okay with that. My pride's dead. I killed my pride probably about 10 years ago. Once you've gone through the family court system, a certain amount of your pride dies automatically. And then I found out, I got a tip on that from my own psyche and said, shit, let me kill the rest of this, because pride has never done anything good for me. So I don't have pride. Tear me apart. I love that. It's a very comfortable way to live when you don't have pride to protect. We learned a long time ago to live within our means. That's true. Most of us don't know how to do that. Credit has destroyed that whole theory. Stabby says multiple sources of law enforcement, CSI shit, lawyers, insurance agencies, ballistic experts, and all the people that are under them are all together to cover up truth or stage some event without anyone saying anything. You're right. That is the biggest killer to the conspiracy theorist, is that people can't keep their fucking mouth shut. And Dr. Michael Shermer will tell you that too. I don't like to say his name because I don't like his attitude, but goddamn, his intelligence is in line. And people talk. People fucking talk. You know why? Because they're information brokers by nature. If people can use something they know to get leverage in any situation, they will. It's the rare person that keeps the secret to keep fighting the good fight. They're going to talk. They're going to get drunk and talk. Use it as a power play. I can get laid if I tell these people that I've seen aliens inside the U.S. government. I can get money. That'll give me power. That'll give me fame, recognition, material goods, wealth beyond belief. All I got to do is use this knowledge I have that's very valuable to somebody and sell it in little parcels. People talk. They just do, man. Even if they wait till their deathbed and say, all right, I'm breaking my security oath. I think the people need to know I worked with 6 live aliens at Area 51. I can't imagine, unless they wrote a book, why a person on their deathbed would do something like that unless they were sick and delusional and had some dreams, which is entirely possible, that they believed were reality. They have proven in various psychological experiments that memories are indistinguishable from whether they really happened or you dreamt them years down the road, especially when you're losing some of your cognitive faculties anyway in your prefrontal cortex. So I think it's reasonable to say, that person could be thinking this, but not be right. But that many Irishmen can't be wrong. The more witnesses you gather of a certain perspective that say they saw something and they describe it in detail, I start believing them. I think it's a natural thing. You start believing it when more and more people come forward saying, here's what I saw. And it all matches up. Unless you're a fan or believer of a mass hallucination, I start believing them, and these people in Roswell said they saw shit. I think a lot of them wanted to see shit, and they extended their hopes and imagination onto actuality just to paint it slightly different. They can do that. People can do that, and not even realize they fooled themselves. You're going to notice a dollar bill blowing across the field much quicker than you would notice a Hershey bar wrapper blowing across the field. Why is that? Why is it? Nothing wrong with Hershey bars, is there? It's because you've ascribed a certain value to it. And in an ironic way now, you probably could get the Hershey bar, but it pay more than $1 for it. We look for that money. We're looking for it. We're looking for it everywhere, and we're going to see it. Sometimes we're going to see it when it's not there. But we're going to let the Hershey wrapper go and not even talk about it, when really it was just as valid and real as the goddamn dollar bill. I want to know what you're talking about, Jewish producer. What started happening to you when you bust your ass every day? This country hasn't given me any favoritism, and I'm sick feeling sorry if others don't get preferential treatment because they're black or brown. Okay. I think, I'm not sure where you're coming from with that. I think we're getting to the edge of where affirmative action is going to die. I mean, you can't have total equality if you have affirmative action in place. It's going to die. But it was necessary for its time. I mean, racism is very real, and it's still there. It's just, it's time to go ahead and say, look, you're an American. That demonstrates something, just doing that. But then what you're doing there also is you're trusting that the average white American boss is going to hire fairly. Are you willing to trust? Because that's the same thing as saying we don't need welfare. People will donate to those who are needy. Are you going to trust that to happen? I don't know. But affirmative action is going to make a statement about equality, so it needs to be made. It has to go. It's going to go. It's going to be gone within 10 years. I'll bet you money. I'll bet you a buffalo nickel on it. Oh, because we blew away his conspiracy shit. Well, maybe he's good at changing the subject, you know. Kim, what do you think about all these conspiracy theories? You haven't told me how many you believe in or don't believe in, and what you think about the false flag attacks to unify people behind a false cause. Curious what you think about that. I still don't know what the fuck Black Klansman's thinking. I don't know if he's high or if he's... Because at the same time he has the most to lose if this system he hates crumbles. I don't know, man. Black Klansman, there are people like me out here who don't care if a system supports them. It's, you know, we just want the truth. So I would just say, consider us when you make a statement like that. Now, you may know Apocalypse and Jewish producer better than me, but I wouldn't just say that anybody defending something is only defending it because it supports them in some way. I've even told people if they wanted to buy commercials on this show, you know, you want to sell wind energy, I'll attack wind energy. Wind energy has problems. If you've seen any of the documentaries, there's some real problems with it. I'll attack it. So if you don't like that, don't offer me the money for the commercial. I think that's a good question, though. What more are you missing? Respect? I don't need respect. Do you guys need respect? Do you feel good when people, I don't know, bow down to you in some way or somehow show you they feel submissive in your presence? That doesn't feel good to me. In fact, it makes me feel immediate. This is why I didn't make a good boss. When I was an electronics instructor at a career school, Kim knows it's Tidewater Tech over there, the one in Newport News. And I got promoted to lead electronics instructor, so I was in charge of all the guys. And I was only 24 years old. And it was a political thing. I shouldn't have been promoted. But I was the only motherfucker there that wasn't sexist, and the director was a female. So, of course, I got the job. Now, here's the thing about that. I was too young for that. I don't make a good boss. Because I know right away, when I become a boss, people already don't like me. Because of the position I'm in. Not anything about me. Because I'm now in a position of authority. So maybe that's a weak-minded view. I would probably admit to that. I think that's not a good reason to not be a boss. But it was my reason. I don't make a good boss. And I was offered other positions to be a boss after that, and I wouldn't take them. And I guess I needed people to like me then. Now, I don't need people to like me at all, but I still don't want to be the guy that's hated because of his position. So, yeah, the only time I would ever make a great leader, and my friend Joe knows this, is if there were some sort of natural disaster or total chaos in the system, and I could go out and help people. Because I can think during chaos. I'm pretty good at that. And I can gather people and, you know, kind of knock the emotion down some, bring up the logic, and let's attack this thing from the most likely scenario of winning. And that's when my leadership qualities will come out. If we don't ever have that day, you're never going to see me leading anybody, except maybe my listeners. And I'm not even trying to lead them to anything but the river of truth. Lead them to the water, let them drink. That's all. Whenever you guys, are you fucking with me, or do you hate each other? I need to know. Stabby and Jewish producer, you guys don't like each other, or are you just fucking around? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'll do your thing, but too much information at our fingertips. Stabby says we are beating many disease that 40 years ago was still killing millions. That's true, and that'll continue. But new diseases will emerge too. This is a cycle. This is not a one-way ride. This is going to continue. Apocalypse wants respect from certain people he respects. That does make a difference now. Yeah, it does. Like, get all other things being the same, if I were going to get respect and value that respect, I would certainly value it from people that came from people that I already respected. But people can fuck up, man. People can live a perfect life for 40 years, and then they get in power, and by the age of 45, they're as corrupt as shit. So you can't trust it. You got to almost, if you want to really respect them for the right reasons, you got to kind of keep them in check. Keep an eye on them. That's a sad state too, that we can't just stay honorable all the time. We're too subject to temptation. Money, sex, position, favors, it doesn't matter. We're drawn. It's too tempting. How many people can stand up to temptation day after day after day and always do the right thing? This is the problem with law enforcement now, as I see it. We just see bad shit more than we see the boring good shit that happens every day. You're right about that, Stabby. You're damn right about that. People don't want to... Yeah, that's why good news doesn't sell. So we have this warped view that everything happening is bad because that's what's reported. Jewish producer says, I don't understand why 9/11 is still a point of contention. It's fucking 10,000% obvious the original story makes no sense knowing what everyone now knows. Give me evidence, man. Give me evidence. What are you talking about? Thermite? You want to talk about thermite? Because we can talk about that. You want to talk about free fall? You want to talk about this myth that a couple of the hijackers are still alive? It's a fucking myth, dude. People are making this shit up because it stirs controversy. And it helps and I know you're intelligent, I'm not saying anything about this, but the average conspiracy theory helps the small mind make sense of complex situations. The advanced mind can say, look, it's complex, and I accept that. There is no evidence that 9/11 was an inside job. I've seen it all. It's all false. It's either lies, which is most often the case, or it's a serious stretch of the truth. What it almost always is a small anomaly that we only find in hindsight that doesn't fit in perfectly, and we think because of that small anomaly, that the other 10 tons of data mean nothing. Just prove it to me. JFK is a bullshit story. I think a lot of people had a motivation to kill JFK. A lot of people did. The one that got him was a fucking loser named Lee Harvey Oswald. He's the one that got him. I can't promise you that if Lee Harvey Oswald hadn't been there might not have been some Cuban-inspired attack a week later. All I'm saying is that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. For his own reasons. He wanted to get famous, and that's how he did it. I've seen the evidence, I've seen all the alternative theories, and I've seen the lack of evidence for those. Bring in that evidence, man. Drop it. Drop pounds of that evidence in front of us. Nobody's got it, because it doesn't exist. I think I am a good person, Kim, but I sometimes wonder what the point of it is. I don't know what the point of being good is. I don't believe that there's some anthropomorphic father figure waiting up in the sky to beat my ass if I do wrong and give me gold if I do right. So why am I good? I guess I'm going by the golden rule. It's really that simple. I want other people to treat me fairly well, so I treat them fairly well. I'm a simple dude. I might be oversimplifying, I think I do that to enjoy peace. I would give you guys credit if you said, listen, Kevin, the JFK thing, you're not looking deeply enough. You don't want to believe there's a conspiracy because you don't want to have to reopen that case in your mind. I could buy that. You might be right. There may be some motivating force inside me just enjoying the peace. So I don't want to reopen that case in my mind. But to be honest with you, when I've looked at all the evidence, it just doesn't look convincing to me. I've seen everything from the diagrams of where the guys were sitting in the car, to the reloading time of the rifle, to the scale and length of the target and how hard it is to hit moving. I've seen all of that, and the only thing I come to the conclusion of is that when you have any situation that you look at hard enough, you can find anomalies to the truth. To the truth. You know, you can do experiments that you know how you did the experiment, and you will find anomalies in there that do not match the predicate and subject of that experiment. They'll show up. Things you didn't understand, things you still don't understand. And automatically that's a conspiracy? Just because it doesn't fit? Not here. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that brand. Writers, researchers, where do you get that? Yeah, we are. We're like locust apocalypse. I was thinking that, you know, I have this weird philosophy that we could probably do more good in the universe than bad if we spread out. We're going to spread out. It'll happen slowly. The moon, Mars, orbiting space stations, out of the solar system once we get the technology down, and then finally out of the galaxy, and set up camp in our little corner of the universe. But are we doing any favors for anybody? Giving more organisms that didn't have any life at all life. Here's your chance to be. What are you going to do with it? And who are we to make judgments on what's the right thing? I don't know, you know. I don't know if it's, I don't know what are we going to promote? We do live like locusts, and we tear up our resources and move. That's what we do. It's what we've always done. It's kind of a natural thing. Reproduce, tear up our resources, and move to the next place. Yeah, well, there's always going to be the bell curve. You know, Kim, it's funny, Kim lent me a book, The Bell Curve. It's a fucking monster of an 800-pager, basically talking about intelligence and, you know, class structure in American life. And I believe it was written by, what was the dude's name? Herrnstein and Charles something. But anyway, it was, you know, the bell curve is something that applies to everything. You have your average, and then you have your extremes in any population. And we have out right outside of your standard deviation is going to be your shit people. They want to hurt others. They enjoy it. What good could they possibly be to the perpetuation of life? You can't help but wonder that. It's not a hard question. It's not a loaded question. It's not even a religious question. It's just that if life is good, if we can all agree that having more life is a good thing, and for all life to stop is a bad thing, if we can agree on that premise, then you have to look at the people that are not perpetuating life. I don't know. Eurofag altruism will be the only thing to save this planet if we continue existing. Might be. My brain needs more wine. Yeah, nobody called into the goddamn show. I see how you motherfuckers are, and my voice is gone. So I'm basically done here. I told you, goddammit. Call into the next one. I'll have one on probably tomorrow or the next night. Or if Kim and I go back ghost hunting, we might do a live broadcast from out there, but you couldn't call into that one because obviously it's remote. So I don't know. You guys got another show to go chat in since you've got all of this political firestorm started up here and you're launching at each other? You called, Kim? Which one did you? Oh shit! Did you? I've got the thing open. I've got the. Holy shit! Apocalypse Pimp Hat. Hot Jen. Who the fuck is Hot Jen? I don't care if you're hot. I ain't looking for no sex. Carry that shit out of here. Carry that boom boom out of here. News Guy show is on? Okay, so you guys go over to News Guy. Yeah. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Last call, bitches. Jews guy. Jewish producer should like him. Yeah, they'll fucking read quotes from the Torah, man. Let's get it going. Now, I have nothing against Jews, nothing at all. I think our support for the Jewish state of Israel is a little bit odd, how extreme it is. We don't support anybody else like that, so I don't know where that comes from. But maybe you guys can explain that to me another show. So thank you, Apocalypse. It was a good show because you guys were in chat, and I'll play you a song on the way out because there is a certain amount. I think because of the nature of the song the show we just had, it would be important to have the funkiest possible song we could have here, and that is Lo Tag Blanco Slumlord, and that is that. So here.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host. Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.